All right, we got here 2011 Infinity, what is this, QX56. Now, this is one of those nightmare cars, but at least it wasn't a nightmare for me yet. There's a lot of backstory. So, this car came in with low fuel pressure, and it was running really bad. So they pulled off the high pressure fuel pump, and they saw that the cam lobe was gone. It was worn out. So they replaced the actual cam on the camshaft is like the sprocket. They replaced that and the high pressure fuel pump and put everything back together. It was running much better, but there was a timing code and a code for fuel pressure too high. All right, so they replaced the timing chains, put everything back together, and it was the same issue. This is the lobe to the camshaft, to the high pressure fuel pump that, you know, the whole tappet was fully worn out, and this is what they replaced. This is the lobe of the camshaft. It was back to square one, meaning the car was running much better, no timing code, but there was a high pressure fuel pump code. So I was here yesterday. They were thinking it's a problem with the sensor. So they were gonna pull the intake to check the sensor, but I figured I'll just disable fuel and watch it go down to 0, and it did. So I know the fuel pressure sensor is working, but as I was working on it, the starter died. I was just clicking and it wouldn't start. So I went home and I noticed that when I unplugged the fuel pump, something changed, meaning the computer knows the fuel pump's unplugged, and it makes like a weird sound, but the fuel pressure stays high. So I'm assuming that it's just not getting a good control from the PCM. Now, when I was here yesterday, I left, they replaced the starter, and he also put in a new fuel pressure sensor, OEM one. I guess he didn't trust me. He put one in, it didn't fix anything. It was same high pressure fuel pump. They also put back in the old high pressure fuel pump because they thought maybe it's in the pump itself, in the solenoid. The pump itself wasn't so bad, it was mainly the cam lobe and everything else. So he put it back in just to see, and we have the exact same issue. Now I'm using a new scan tool from Vdiagtool they just sent me. This is their wireless version. It's the VD70S. It comes with 3-year updates. It's Bluetooth, and they claim it has auto auth capabilities, which is pretty impressive. I didn't try that yet. I didn't try it at all, so I don't know if I get a Chrysler, we'll try it. I did put the numbers into auto auth in case I get a Chrysler. So connects, let's do auto scan. It's pretty much the exact same software as Xtool. I don't know who, I'm assuming Xtool is the main company. It's like tapped on to launch. But I was really impressed with their wired version, how fast it was. So this is the wireless one. Let's see if it's also fast. Okay, USA. Hold up the VIN. Automatic scan. So there's no topology, which makes sense. It is. I don't know how much it costs, but I think it's like in the $400 to $600 range. Oh, it has voltage. That's a huge upgrade. I feel like the last one didn't have voltage, and I commented on that as a problem. It also has a C charger and a kickstand, so you know they've been listening. Kickstand, you can put it on the steering wheel. All right, okay, good. So let's see what we got here. We have 4 codes in the engine. We got a fuel pump code. Now I think they were disconnecting things, so I can't really trust all these issues. Rich fuel system was not on yesterday. Air fuel ratio wasn't either, but we had this high fuel pressure, this P088, 0088. I can't remember if the P009 was here yesterday. I'm not sure, but let's just go to data. How do I go? Diagnostics. Alright, read live data. All signals. So they do the same thing with the Xtool, they number them, which to me is a little bit annoying. How do we do this? Is there a search button? Oh yeah, right there, search. Alright, so we got fuel pump, fuel pressure. Okay, 1621. Okay, the search is annoying because you could search and then you have to select something. You can't just search everything with fuel and then select them. Alright, air fuel. Alright, let's just get this. I guess custom. Okay, perfect. Could we graph? How do we graph? X chart. Graph. Alright, so that's our fuel pressure at 1589. And the voltage is at 2 volts, 2.25 volts. Alright, we're going to start it up. And the car died. Okay. So the fuel pressure right away is up to 2600, which I'm assuming is maxed out pressure. If I rev it, yeah, it stays the same. So I think this is the highest possible voltage, the highest possible pressure this pump is making. So let me go out and look at it. Make sure it's plugged in. Yes, it's plugged in right here. I want to unplug it and just see what happens to the pressure. I think it's going to stay the same. You know, before that, let me get a diagram up. All right, here's a low pressure sensor and a high pressure sensor. All right, here's the high pressure fuel pump. There's 2 wires. It's a blue and white and a blue and black. Now, they just say high pressure fuel pump. Doesn't tell me which one's the power and ground, but I'm assuming it's going to be a pulse width modulated signal. Let's see, let me just look up the actual connector. Actually, he printed out already stuff. Let's see if it says over here. What pin are we on? Pin 110. Oh, here, this says right here, the fuel pump. So the blue and white wire is the drive signal, and the blue and black wire is the ground. All right, pin 110, high pressure fuel pump, low, and high pressure fuel pump, high. So I don't know if they pulse width modulate both, but we're gonna have to check that. I'm gonna put a scope on both of them to see. Let me just quickly look at this code, P0088. All right, if we have 87 or 90 is displayed with this 1197, which we don't have, do that one first. But the 88 is high pressure too high, high fuel pressure too high. If found this continues for 5 seconds or more after engine start, regardless of water temperature, actual fuel pressure plus target fuel pressure. It could be harness or connector, the fuel pump circuit is open or shorted, or the fuel system. That's helpful, the fuel system. Okay. Turn it off, on. Alright, they want me to check the low fuel pressure sensor voltage, which I checked this before it was in spec. Okay, it's still in spec. Perform the high pressure fuel pump component inspection. C component inspection. Oh, here, okay. Check high pressure fuel pump. They want you to check the resistance between they just want 1 and 2. It should be 9 to 11 ohms. Reconnect high for start the engine. Check fuel pressure sensor. All right, what is it? At idle, it should be 1200 millivolts. 20. So we're even higher than this the whole time. How stupid do they think we are? They're like, with consult, it will say 980 to 1200 millivolts. Then there's a whole nother chart. Without console, it will say 0.98 of a volt to 1.2 volts. Alright. Inspection and replace high pressure fuel pump. Which is funny, they don't tell me to go check anything to the computer. I don't understand why. I mean, isn't the ECM, maybe it would set a code, which we don't have. What's the 90? High pressure fuel pump performance. They're not giving much information. I'm going to put a scope on these 2 wires, see what we have, and we'll take it from there. Alright, I'm going to hook up 2 channels. One to the power, one to the ground of this wire. Okay, so now channel A volts. Let's raise it, 5 volts of division. Let's go a little faster. Okay. Now let's get channel 2 on. channel 2. Alright, so right now I got high voltage on the power and pulse width on the ground, and on the power I just have voltage. So it's as if this thing is being commanded fully on. Also, I do have a pulse. It's just way slower. But that means the computer's doing, like, it's commanding it on. Is it just not working? Is it just 2 bad pumps? Or is it a bad pin fitment? Yeah, the car's misfiring now. Let's see if I can get it to change. I'm going to ground it through a test light. No, I can't even ground it. But you see, you definitely see the pulse width of the power. So it's giving a real power on ground. Alright, let's see if we have to do ground on this. And we do. It's a good pulse power and a good pulse ground. Now, I don't know what's good. Like, is this... I don't have a data pin telling me what the desired is. But I clearly have a good signal to the pump. The only thing I'm thinking is maybe we have a bad pin fitment. Alright, I'm going to shut the car. I'm going to ohm out the pump, and I'm going to check pin fitment. Alright, well, I'm just going to ohm out the old pump because it's easier. Just to make sure it's in spec. I mean, sorry, this is a new pump that he took out. So I think it said 10 to 13. Or 9 to 13. Yeah, we got 9.8. Alright, so this is perfect. The ohms are good. I'm suspecting pin fitment at the pump. Alright, let's check pin fitment on this connector right over here. I have this tool I use from Kia. It's just like... I mean, it's the same thing as the AES wave test kit. Let me just match it up with this one. That's a bit thicker than that. It doesn't matter how long, it really just matters how thick. Looks like this guy. Yeah, we'll use the blue one. And both of them feel relatively good, not amazing. There's definitely some drag in it. You know, I want to run it with it disconnected and see the difference. Alright, so now I have it disconnected. I'm going to start the car again. I want to just see what we see on the scope, see if I could tell that it's good or not. Alright, so we got right now channel 2 is the power, so we definitely have a power, and channel 1 is a ground, and we got no ground. I mean, we have a ground, it's not pulse width. I mean, I don't know if it's a ground. Let's see. Is it a ground? No. Yeah, it is a ground. And now it's pulsing. So I know the connection's good. The wire from the computer to here has to be good. I don't know why it's not lowering the pressure. What could be telling the pressure to be too high? The only thing I'm nervous about, besides the computer, is it's possible that the timing is off and somehow the timing is causing it to run at full pressure. I don't know how to test for that. I mean, I can test timing of cam crank, but that's about it. They have that tool, I think it's called the ADDI, that reads the sensor, and it could somehow, I don't understand fully what it does. Super Mario Diagnostics had a video on it. This is the first time I've seen max pressure, and I know the connector is good. I'm just looking on Identifix. I typed this in. So I typed the code in. It says, check for timing chain noise. If the timing chain shows on this vehicle can cause improperly timed high pressure pump control, fine. They change the timing chains. Monitor the intake valve timing degree readings for both tanks on a cold startup. They should be close to 0 degrees. When the engine warms up, they will change drastically, fine. In some cases, the high pressure pump follower can also wear and cause a pressure issue. Okay, now I saw this guy writes, timing off on the high pressure cam lobe, put chain in the right spot. See, so he was making it sound like it's impossible. There's no, where is it? He gave me the piece. He was telling me there's no way, there's no like timing for that lobe. It just fits in one way. So I don't know how that person said the timing was off. Alright, so here's what I'm holding. I wanted to find that gear that he put on to see if there's another way to put it in place, because this guy, all that it was on Identifix, was saying how it was in the wrong spot. So I just called the owner. I can't find where I put it. I don't know. He said he left it there. He doesn't think he put it away. So I don't know where it is. But he told me like this, that when you're installing the chains, there was 2 ways to install it. Either you can install the lobe down or up. Now, he called, the All Data has a hotline. So he was nervous about it. So he called the All Data hotline. Oh, I found it. It was behind my scan tool. So this has to fit in one way. But yeah, you could turn this lobe anyway. All right, this lobe's definitely in the wrong spot. That's for sure what happened. Let me read through service information, how to install it. So here's the timing chains, or whatever, here's the phasers, it was chained, and this guy right here is the high pressure fuel pump camshaft. I have to see this apart and together with him to ask him if he got it right. Okay, this is good information. The high pressure fuel pump is installed at the front of the engine. Okay, bank 2. Alright, so low pressure goes in, the plunger comes up. You see, because it all works at the right time. When the cam's spinning, let's say if the cam's off, so it's pouring fuel, it's locking up the spill valve, and the pressure will just always be high. Yeah, I honestly think this is in the wrong spot. Maybe he has pictures. I don't know, but I'm done for now. I'm gonna go home and look this all over. But thanks for watching. Alright, well, I'm back on this Infinity, and they pulled the cover off. Not the whole cover. They were able to pull off just the cover over here, and they saw that the gear was out of time. And they were able to pull the tensioner and turn it in time, and right now it's running, and we got 1,000 psi, which to me still seems a little high, but it's not stuck at the 2,000 psi that it was, 2,700 psi that it was before. I think we're good to go. They were having issues with the alternator not charging, but I don't know, now it's charging. He replaced the alternator, but he said it was still intermittently not charging, but I'm looking at it now and the whole time it's charging, so I can't really diagnose it. But seeing how this IDPM has a relay wired outside of it for the starter relay, it's very possible something else is wrong with it, and it's not charging the alternator. But whatever, for now I'm done. Thanks for watching.